Hey everyone, welcome to a new episode of Parenting and You with me, Dr. Shefali. I always tell parents that their energy, their emotional state, their moods even are infectious and contagious. You know, many times I would be walking around in my house thinking, hey, I'm in a normal mood. But my daughter would turn around and go, Mom, why are you so angry? And I wouldn't be aware that my jaws were clenched, that I was looking irritable, that I had a frown on my face because I was disconnected to my emotional state. But my daughter, she would pick up on it and reflect it back. So, this is what conscious parenting teaches us to be so attuned to how we express our emotions, especially around our children, because what we feel will come through. So, the more aware we are, the more attuned we can be, and we can harness that emotional energy accordingly. That's what this episode is about. How do you handle your own emotional baggage? How do you harness it? And most of all, how do you transform it? Coming up next, a mom who says that she and her husband have completely different parenting styles, and it is causing a conflict. Joining me now is Sonal. Sonal says that she and her husband are living on two different islands when it comes to their parenting styles. Hi, Sonal. Welcome. Tell me what's going on.
Hello, Dr. Shefali. Essentially, we have different ideologies on parenting, and because of that, there's we run into a lot of conflict outside of parenting. I would say my husband and I are great friends. We can really see eye to eye on most things in life, except for this, I think. So, if I had to summarize in quick words, I would say his way of parenting is more traditional, perhaps, and mine is probably more on the quote unquote gentle side. I've been reading books, I've read your books, and identify with the conscious parenting side. So I know that you've also said you cannot change the other side of the parenting paradigm. So I would like to identify what my own triggers are, so I can show up in a better way and not be constantly butting heads with my husband on this. And I feel like I'm always the protector of my kids, and I jump in and intervene in the interactions between my husband and my children where I probably shouldn't always. And I realized that later on, but I just can't seem to stop myself in the moment. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm coming from.
Okay, so on a scale of 1 to 10, if your husband was super traditional, which means, shaming, punishing, yelling, screaming, to 1, which could be you, where would he be?
I would probably say about 6. He's not bad. It's not like he's hitting or spanking or any of that. But even him raising his volume, and he's a big guy, intimidating. I think I have a 4.5-year-old and a 1.5-year-old, 2 kids that young. So him even raising his voice, I just feel the need to make comments, and it angers him. Then it annoys me, and then it just goes downhill.
Is he aware that he may be a bit too threatening and intimidating, even though he doesn't mean to be for a little kid?
Yeah, to give him credit where credit is due. I think he is trying. He wants to do better, but I think when we're in the situation, I think it's easy for all of us to revert back to what's comfortable to us, and that's what he is doing as well.
So let me ask you, when you were growing up, did you grow up with a traditional parent?
I did.
And do you remember how you felt when your parents yelled or screamed?
I remember very little about feelings from my childhood. I always say that I had a good childhood, but when it comes to remembering things, I don't remember my feelings at all.
Do you remember being happy?
I didn't feel traumatized at the moment or anything, but I don't remember being happy or sad for that matter.
Well, that is information, that's data. And I think when we don't remember our childhoods, that is actually quite indicative of not being in touch with what we were going through. And that happens to a lot of children who are blank about the most important part of their life, really, and not remembering the felt sense of euphoria, joy, playfulness, giddiness, giggliness, play is indicative that you were kind of in coping mode or in performing mode and you weren't really in your body.
That's possible. My parents had very high performing standards. I think there was this sense of you're worthy if you're doing well. And I also had a sibling who was had some potentially some issues with school stuff and all that. Maybe perhaps undiagnosed learning disabilities. So my parents had a lot of attention on that and was constantly like comparing between me and her. Why can you be more like your sister, which was me? But I felt maybe I that put even more pressure on me to keep performing well. It just put my head down and just keep doing what needs to be done.
Yes, and that's what I meant, is that you were just cut off from your existence, from your being, from your heart, and you were just a doer, doer, doer. And so much so, your entire childhood has passed and you don't even know how you felt. We're talking early 9, 10 years of not knowing how you felt. So that's very important information for you. However, I think what's getting triggered when your husband yells is some of that panic that you don't even know where it's coming from. But let's go to your partner for right now. Was your partner raised by traditional parents?
Yeah.
And was he also made to perform and do and achieve?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he did, but I probably more got into the revolting side of me in my teenage years. But he learned to stand up for himself and push back early on. So there was a lot of conflict between him and his parents.
Correct. So regardless, both of you have some issues around being children or having children and allowing the being state to be natural. You see, he was already in a defensive mode with his parents early on. You were compliant, then you became defensive later. Both of you were not your authentic selves. So now, when that happens and we have children together, we are going to clash. And that's just completely normal. You're trying to go one way, he's the other way. But regardless, for anyone to be triggered by a 4.5-year-old means that they have unresolved issues, because 4.5-year-olds are just 4.5-year-olds. They're not trying to particularly purposely trigger or harm or be bad. They're just struggling. So what we need to understand for the dynamic between the two of you is, how can you successfully create a boundary between your partner and your child versus constantly nagging him, right? Nagging is never going to work. So we have to take some bigger action to protect your child, or we say, it's not bad, it's okay, and I'm going to back off. You're not doing either. You're not really taking proactive action to heal this dynamic, or you're not taking completely a laid back approach. So you're in between, and you're actually going to cause more stress and more strife. So when you get triggered, you're having some fears. So what is your fear around your partner, raising his voice against your son?
I think ultimately, I feel like the yelling and screaming just escalates into perhaps like physical harm because the kids will stop listening after a while. So I'm just trying to go down that slippery slope of things escalating and then it becoming like a physical thing. My big goal is that my kids should not be distant from us and like lie to us or have to feel like they can't talk to us about things, and have a good relationship with them in their 20s and like many years from now. So I feel like my husband's big concern is he doesn't want kids to become perhaps entitled. And there's a word in Hindi called badtamiz. You may be familiar with that or not, but that's what his big concern is.
In every seminar I've gone to, one of the first 3 questions is, Dr. Shefali, I follow conscious parenting, but what do I do about my partner? So this is going to become a relationship problem. Has it already become a marital problem?
A little bit. I think we definitely struggle on seeing eye to eye on this. And since this is such a big part of our lives right now, we definitely, get into a lot of arguments and such and not able to find a way forward.
Correct. And this is only one child who's 4.5. They're not even teenagers, and you're already seeing that this is a problem. So this is very soon going to move from a parenting problem to a marital problem, which will then become a life problem. So I truly suggest that both of you come to therapy, to counseling, to coaching, to me, to somebody else, but you have to shift the dynamic. Either he decides to just let you have the commander-in-chief role and backs off and just is a support, or if he's going to be a co-parent with you, you both have to have somewhat of a unified approach. You cannot think alike, you cannot be alike. It doesn't mean you never have to ever argue in front of your children. That's unsustainable to imagine that you're going to be perfect, but you both have to come on the same page, at least when they're young, in terms of your approach. So, see, his approach is that the children are bad. Your approach is that they're good. This is the fundamental difference. If he thinks of them as bad and that they need to be corrected, then he's right. If you think of them as good, therefore they need to be forgiven and understood, then you're right. So which approach are we going to take? Of course, I agree with your approach, and he's actually completely wrong. And he is going to cause damage, and it is going to cause a fight. You see, he never had a good relationship with his parents. He was fighting from a young age. So fighting, arguing, chaos is his playground. You see, he's not even looking at this as a problem because he grew up fighting. But this is going to be very unhealthy for your children. So he can hear this when the podcast comes out, and you can go, see, she agrees with me. And you need to take him for counseling with you because it's soon going to become a couples issue.
We have talked about it, but it's just one of those things where, to your point about commander in chief, he does talk about, okay, well, we'll do it that way, your way. But the other thing is, I think the other thing I struggle with is the uneven division of parenting responsibilities, where mother is the one who is doing the heavy lifting, and somehow I did not did not see that, realize that until I had children myself. To your point about middle ground, even in this, I have a hard time going either extreme where, I do most of my kids, chores and what responsibility as a parent, but I also feel very resentful with the father, my husband, on having responsibilities as much as I do.
Do you also work outside the home?
Yeah, I do have a full-time job. Yep.
So both of you have full-time jobs and you have the full-time parenting.
Correct.
Well, this is the problem in modern parenting, right? I mean, somebody has to not work and somebody has to stay at home with the kids. What to do? Children require care. So it's not up to me to decide who does that in your house. But yes, it sounds like you're doing double duty, and that's very hard for you. And so I strongly suggest, where possible, take some stuff off your plate, where possible. Maybe you work from home 1 or 2 days a week. Maybe if you can afford to, work less. Otherwise, by the time they are 10 years old, you are going to be a burnt out, resentful, angry wife. And what would be the point of that? What point would that be? It's already heading that way, I can tell. You are putting too much on your plate. And good for you. You're an ambitious modern woman, but the modern woman has a lot on her plate that she will pay the price for, because she's trying to do it all. So figure out a way to at least reduce the stress in the house, and figure out a way to get him to at least partner with you on some things. And I really recommend an external coach, maybe even a man that he will listen to, just not to be sexist, but maybe that'll help him feel less blamed or cornered by women, and get him to see that you're struggling. And you need to be able to say you're struggling. Instead of fighting, create a change. Instead of talking about it, actually create a plan.
But we both recognize it, that we're not, this is going to cause problems in the future, but we're just in a place where we're not able to break past it. So your point about external coaching is something we definitely have talked about, but haven't taken any action on.
Right. So sometimes when we watch ourselves complain and complain and complain and talk and talk and talk, we get stuck in that cycle instead of going, you know what, we need help and we can't do this on our own. And I think you're so aware. You're such a smart, wise woman. I think you're going to be able to turn this around. Thank you for sharing.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you for your time. Really appreciate it.
It's not easy to parent, period. And it certainly isn't easy to parent with someone else, especially when your style and their style clashes. I mean, this just happens so much. And I always tell parents when they and their partner have conflictual parenting styles that they need to seek outside help, because this is more than just an argument in the present moment or a fight tomorrow. It's really going to erode their partnership and their marriage if they don't take this seriously. So it's not easy. It's not that the two parents are being bad because they have different viewpoints. After all, you parent the same way that you were conditioned until you try a new way. So, for any of you listening who is experiencing some struggles with your co parent, know that you're not alone and you can reach out for help. Coming up next, a mother who is very overwhelmed, super stressed because she feels that her 2 teenage sons are disconnecting from her. Joining me now is Jaja. She is struggling with her 2 sons, disconnecting from her, and she's afraid of what the future holds for them as adults. Hello, Jaja. Welcome. Tell me what your concerns are.
Okay, first of all, thank you so much. I love you so much. And you're my fairy godmother right now. My concerns are everybody in the family has some sort of learning disability. And so we are completely different elements. I'm an air sign. My husband is earth and water and fire. And not only that, my children are on the spectrum, but they're still very different. And they don't look like they don't look obviously disabled or anything like that. And they both are very insecure about who they are when it comes to connecting with people. Now, my youngest son, which is most concerning to me, is because he was a very happy, vivacious child, very outgoing and had friends and everything. And I used to say, okay, thank God somebody in his family is normal. Okay, I have ADHD, dad has like Asperger's and whatever. So I was like, thank God somebody's normal and happy and it's not like yelling at each other or anything. But just like recently, he's just turned 16 and just like recently, like about 14 or something, it's like a switch happened. And I don't know what it is that happened. I'm chalking it up to like puberty or something. But even his friends at that age didn't even act like that. I mean, I have to remind him he works 1 day a week, and I have to remind him to smile at work. He grunts answers. He's very dark. He looks like he doesn't want anybody to talk to him. And it's just like day and night. I got help for him. I got him a psychologist, and he just refused to go. So he's not getting in the car. Like, it will get to the point where I'm trying to drag this kid in the car. And I'm like, what am I doing? What am I doing? I surrender to God. Okay, so that's what I am doing. I'm surrendering to God.
Okay, hold on. I don't mean to laugh at you. You're just so animated, and you're
No,
like,
but
I
seriously.
surrender. Okay.
I cannot.
Okay, so your oldest son is how old?
Okay, so my oldest son is 20, but he hangs as his friends are 17, 18, just about to leave for college, which is very detrimental for him too, because he looks normal, but something is going on with him. I'm not sure what kind of autism he has, but he's got it. And whatever it is, it's like he's afraid. He's afraid to be growing up. He's afraid to be an adult because it means he feels like he's not efficient. I think being in special education all their lives, both of them kind of screwed them up, because it means like he's been put in classes with people with actual Down syndrome. And then he's kept asking himself like, wait, is this what people think about me? I guess I am. And I mean, I asked him to tell me one good thing about himself, and he couldn't tell me. Every day he's a loser. Every day he's saying, but then again, I said that too. He smokes pot and drinks and just hang out. Loser activity. Loser activity. I said, this is loser activity. Of course you're not going to get anywhere with this. You know, and I'm very vocal about it. But if I say it every day, no, I'm affirming that you're a loser, but that's what he's doing. So I surrender. So I gave up Roman because I didn't know what else to do with him. He already was in the hospital 5 different times, the mental hospital 5 different times. And I mean, technically he's an adult, but he's a child.
You're very overwhelmed, sweetie.
Exactly.
And you feel like you're a failure.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm not a normal mother. I'm a mess. I can't invite people over to my house. I can't even figure out how to like answer an email. I'm always late everywhere I go. Thank God I finally got like some Adderall first so I don't get fired from every server job I have because I'm now the breadwinner, apparently. It's very frustrating. It's like, who am I to tell people how to live and lead these people? I don't know how to figure out my own damn life. So I feel like a failure because I kind of feel how they feel because I grew up in the Caribbean where they did not acknowledge disabilities. You're just last in the class and you're an idiot, you just can't read and everything like that. So I really understand the struggle of being different. And not only that, my husband's white and they're the only mixed kids in the school. And my youngest told me for the first time that he always felt different. And I never had that conversation about black and white. Because I don't think about my skin. I'm not like the Americans, like, I'm sorry, I don't have a black problem, right? So I don't think about that. I don't have that consciousness. And it never really dawned on me to like have like a race conversation, which is probably a really dumb thing to do, but like things like that, and I surrender. I don't know what to do. I go to church and I pray.
Okay, so you are at your wit's end, okay? I mean, I'm listening to you and I feel only compassion. I see your heart. I see your pain. I wish I could come and hug you, but I can't. I'm sorry. But here's the thing. You are only highlighting all the crap in your life. This is bad, and then 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 this is... I mean, anyone listening to you will want to go and have like 10 glasses of wine and drown themselves in sorrow, right? So,
yeah.
But here's what it is. It's your way of looking at the world.
That's true.
You're not an optimist. You're a pessimist. You're not looking at anything half full. You're looking at everything broken and empty and damaged and destroyed. You have a very pessimistic outlook to life. Did you know that about you?
No, actually, I thought I did. I thought I was very optimistic. I thought I was. But when it comes to my children, I guess I am very pessimistic.
Okay.
I'm always telling them, stop saying that about, stop calling yourself a loser, stop doing this.
But telling them they have a loser mentality and not really understanding them is not going to help. Now, anything I say, you're going to take it as further self-blame, you see? Because you're in this spiral of, you see, I knew she was going to tell me it was my fault. You see, I'm not cut out for this crap. You see, I'm scared to tell you anything because you're going to be like, see, I knew I was the worst mother on the block.
Yes.
You are hard on yourself and your children and life.
What am I supposed to do? Really? What am I supposed to do with these kids?
You're not hearing me, my love. You're not hearing me. What have I said so far? Tell me the main point I've made right now.
Your main point is that I am looking at the life glass half empty rather than full, right? And I'm supposed to be Miss Positivity. I preach. I guess I'm not practicing what I preach, when it comes to my own children, and my own family. I attach. And I'm like, I gotta do this now because I only have this one shot.
You're coming from this high intensity, from this place of attacking. You better be okay now. I mean, you're suffocating them and you're suffocating yourself. I feel claustrophobic just listening to your problems. I go, where do I run? Where do I run? Everywhere there's a problem. Now, I know that you want to be positive. I know in your higher self you're positive. But somehow in your home, you're operating just out of fear. And when we operate in our home out of fear, our children begin to shut down.
So how do I do this?
First, it's not a how do I do, it's a how do I be, which means you have to change your mindset. Your mindset is hyper aroused, hyper vigilant, hyper negative. Okay, you got to have a mindset rehaul right now. I am going to gift you one of my courses for free. You're going to take it and you're going to begin to work on your mindset because your mindset is looking at this whole thing like it's the end of the world, doomsday catastrophe. If I was to listen to you, you have possibly been the worst parent, you have the worst family, the worst children. Now, can that possibly be true? No, because you're a beautiful person, but you're looking and describing yourself and them like this. No wonder they've shut down. No wonder your older child doesn't want to go out of the house, because you've kind of communicated to him that he's got a loser attitude, therefore he's not good enough.
So what does it look like when you have when if they like smoking weed all day? Like how would you approach that? Because obviously me talking and like blah blah blah. Okay. For me, it's either you this or I am like, I surrender. I'm done. I cannot. I'll just give it to God or something. So what would it look like when Jazz says F you or something, like one of my sons say F you to his father or something like that? How do you approach an obvious problem in how they are reacting that's not normal, and be nice and positive?
Okay, see, you're very smart, yeah? You chose two very difficult situations, and you're like, okay, go ahead, Dr. Shefali. How would you like it if they came and spat on you? See, you brought up two very horrible situations. Oh, when they're saying F you and when they're smoking all day. Are there no other moments in between where they are kind of relaxed and you can connect?
Yes, actually, yes. Just recently, our lights got cut off. We had nothing to do because it was like COVID over here in my house. It was like, oh, for some reason, nobody paid the electricity bill and it's $10,000. We had no Wi-Fi or
Okay.
anything like that. All we had to do is just like look at each other.
Okay.
In that period of time, it was kind of like a quarantine kind of moment.
Well, did you connect?
Yes, we did.
Okay, now here's the thing. You yourself are extremely unfocused, yes? You know this, right? You're all over the place. You yourself may have some ADD qualities in your brain, which is not a bad thing. You just need to know how to work with it. And two, you're overwhelmed and you're overstressed. When I look at you, I see a lovely woman, but I don't feel like you're in your body. You are in high stress, high panic mode. You are in flight or fight. No wonder your kids are smoking pot, because you're high strung, okay? You're high maintenance too. I just want you to know, right? So you're beautiful, but look at you. I mean, you're vibrating at a very high frequency, right? You're gorgeous, but you're like, I'm exhausted already, right? So listen to me, my love. Listen. I'm going to give you my course. You're going to take the course and you're going to begin a new journey on you. You're going to work on you, because your mindset of scarcity and lack is so grooved in your brain, I cannot even get you out of it. The moment I will fix one issue with your kid, you're going to find 10 more, because your brain is now wired for negativity. I just want you to know that. And your children can see that. Yes, you need to rewire the whole brain. No, you are not Miss Positive. You're a sweetheart to me and to people outside the house, but to your own children, you're Miss Negativity.
Wow. That's like calling Jesus the devil or something.
I'm not. I just want you to wake up, because you're being so harsh on yourself and your children, my love. You're not saying things like, sometimes they're like this, or they're struggling, or I'm feeling so bad about them. You're like, they are this and they are that and they are struggling and they are, you're just going through a laundry list of negativity. When you see other people through the negative lens, you are going to get depressed. Aren't you feeling exhausted, anxious, and depressed all the time? It's because of your mindset.
Wow. I thought it was so positive.
My love, you're smiling, but all you say is negative things. But you're smiling.
Oh my God.
We're going to change this, okay? We're going to work on this.
Okay. But isn't that what therapy is, though? That's why I'm kind of conflicted, because therapy is just about brain to the therapist all on the bad stuff, which is like, it really is. It's really like, this is my problem, and this is my problem, and this is my problem, and this is my problem. That is exactly what therapy is. So it's like, and you are hard to come by, okay? You are diamond in the rough. So I'm coming at you and I'm giving you the worst of it right now, okay? But I am aware that where your focus goes, attention goes, and all of that stuff.
Okay, you are beautiful and you're hilarious and you're honest and you're true and you're real. You're just stuck in this pessimistic, negative groove of, my goodness, my children, or my goodness, my children. And they pick up on it. You have to change your mindset toward your children. You're going to take a course and we're going to work on it. Okay, so you're going to write to my office after this and we're going to start you on a new mindset transformation. First, you have to take the course. It's 15 hours, and then we will talk. First, you have to start your change. You're impatient, you are impulsive, and you're not focused. So we're going to calm you down. Mommy has to first calm down.
Put the oxygen mask on.
Yes, and begin to truly focus, because your children are picking up on this hyper energy. You have to really tone it down and enter your adult self, right? See now how you are? This is it. This is how it looks. There you go. Now you're in your body. You're centered, you're focused, you're calm. The other energy is too much for your children. This energy is listening, it's reflective, it's a witness, it's receiving. The other one is hyper reactive. That's, for one, this is a big change. You're feeling it in your body. I'm feeling it in my body. You suddenly calm down. Well, this is where we start. This is how it looks. It looks like this. It's not about what they do. I don't care if they say F you 15 times. It's mommy has to be in this energy of compassion, understanding, patience, calm, focused, warmth. Now your kids will pick up a different energy. The other one is a reactor. This one is a reflector, understanding their pain. This is the mother I want your children to have. Right here, I'm looking at her.
If my family saw this and if they see this, they're going to stand up and applaud and give you such a standing ovation. Because they were trying to tell me this. I was like, what are you talking about? I'm positive. Okay. And to have this well-respected person that I absolutely love, and like, I'm going to talk to somebody, like, oh yeah, and oh my God, they are going to crack up when they hear what they have to say. I don't even know.
Don't show it to them. I recommend they should never see this, because they will gang. They will gang up. I'll make sure. Okay.
They are definitely gonna gang up.
We can't have that happening. But you are adorable. Okay. I want you to write to my office. I'm going to be sending you some stuff. Okay.
Oh my God, I love you so much. You're a prayer answered. Okay, a prayer answered, because I don't know where to turn or anything to do, and this is amazing.
You are going to work on you.
You're amazing. Thank you, Jesus.
Boy, that was a lot of energy that Jaja had, but I really loved her infectious vitality, her honesty, her courage, and her ability to take my feedback. Listen, it's never easy when parents come to me and I have to tell them, hey, this is you. Your energy is creating this turmoil as well. I'm not saying that you're the only one, but it's only when we parents own our co-creation in the dynamic and are willing to see how we are playing into what's happening with our children, only then will our connection with them truly transform. So Jaja is now on a mission. I'm going to send her my courses. I'm going to make her read my books. And at least she's willing to change her mindset, because every connection we have in our lives begins with the connection we have within ourselves. The more Jaja connects to herself, calms down, and self-regulates, she will begin to parent with greater attunement and wholeness. I really hope you've enjoyed today's episode. You've learned something. If you have, don't forget to subscribe. And remember, you can be a guest on my podcast. Go to my website, drshefali.com, find the podcast button, and fill up the guest form. I can't wait for you to join me on the next episode of Parenting and You with me, Dr. Shefali. Parenting and You with Dr. Shefali is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not intended as a substitute for professional medical, psychological, psychotherapeutic, coaching, healthcare, or other qualified professional advice, diagnosis, or treatment.